is there of bans and picks. There's no like it's pretty much a guarantee. And be a 4 and 5 in fairness. So maybe a little bit of the same going there, more telegraphed. What's going on here?
And this is the information them. I mean, you're just a little bit harder on yourself, and it also gives for NIGMA so many more options. Right now, they can go in a bunch of different directions, as you said, because they have this really nice hero pool as well.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
I don't like picking your offlaner this early when it doesn't know anything about what it's against, and it's not even like a good one-to-one matchup against the Doom. So I'm just majorly concerned for what we've seen with the teams that are losing so far, that you just have one core that's going to get absolutely obliterated, and Omni Knight's set up to do so if Team NIGMA punishes it, which I think they already kind of have in terms of the game plan. Like Doom as well as the Rubik against you in the mid game is very scary. But now if they just draft like a Razor or something like that, just some hero that makes Omni Knight's laning stage even less fun. Omni Knight is a hero that's impact is 0 to 100. Like it is those 1 to 10, right? There's no 5 impact on an Omni. You know what I mean? Like he either wins you the game or he just feels like there's no Omni in the game.
Yeah.
I want to talk about this Drow pick. Throughout the day, we haven't seen too much of Drow get through. It's getting banned, and so far we've seen Doom and Drow. I mean, is this just a different thought process on the meta? Like, normally these aren't getting this far, right?
I honestly don't think Drow's very good. A lot of other teams have been, or a lot of the other casters here have been harping to me or preaching to me.
I was saying, it was more preachy, right?
Yeah, how good Drow is, and I think she's fine. Like, I don't think she's a bad hero, but with Omni Knight specifically, like, that doesn't stand out to me. Like, Drow is a hero that needs to be in the back positioned, and in this game, I already envision that the way they want to enable this Omni Knight to not just get doomed is to have some hero that runs in front of you and tanks the Doom while they're Heavenly Grace. But, like, Drow is the complete opposite of that. So that already stands out to me. I also think that you never run Drow Disruptor. I don't think that's a lane. Right, like
Disruptor could be 4 still.
I'm saying that, like, what I mean is you're now telegraphing that it's a 4 position Disruptor, so that's even more information. It's almost certainly going to be, you know, like an Undying type melee hero with the Drow. I'm not saying Undying specifically, but it's going to be a melee bruiser in front of the Drow in the laning stage. So all in all, I think Team NIGMA with the first pick, in the second round you have the 2 response picks. I think they're very set up to just have very potent 2 picks in a row here.
Well, what's interesting to me is that both of you see this Drow and you go, it feels to me like it's a mistake, right? So if you're NIGMA and you see that, the thought process isn't like, this is a mistake from them. What's the strategy, right?
Yeah.
So if let's say it's not a mistake and this is the strat.
Yeah.
What should we, you said maybe a melee hero, something like that, but is that the right time to show the Drow, or do you show the Drow now because maybe they are thrown off a little bit different?
To me, when I see this opening from Fighting PandaS, it almost looks like a pocket strat of some sort. It looks like they had a plan going in, and to me, when I see this opening from Fighting PandaS, it almost looks like a pocket strat of some sort. It looks like they had a plan going in, and hard counter to any of the heroes she's facing. She's good against Doom under the condition that she gets to hit because somebody goes in front of her and is that wall, and they don't have the wall yet. They don't have a range increase from, for example, Venge, who I've mentioned before, is incredible with Drow. It's a super good pairing, and maybe they will go for some sort of 5-man
investing in the one hero
the
thing
logic
when you're
is
against the Doom.
we're going
That
to hit
doesn't
this
really make
mid-game
sense to
timing
me.
with the ball, and then we'll try to enable Omni Knight that way, that we maybe get even, it might sound weird, but like a front line Shadow Fiend.
I think it sounds really bad.
Omni Knight gives you alive, and everybody just right clicks and hope you do enough damage to get rid of the enemy heroes. Now what NIGMA ended up doing.
I honestly thought they might pick Shadow.
Doing this is their plan, and you said that you have to.
But honestly, to me, these last two picks from NIGMA kind of really have me. Not very mobile.
Well, we are ready to get into our game. We're going to find out if this FPT is going to be able to take down NIGMA. Let's get right into the game and to our casters.
Thank you very much, Rob. Yeah, looking forward to this one a lot. Fighting Pandas versus Team NIGMA best of 3. Should be exciting to see this. We've just seen the drafts come out, you know, sort of a draw lineup. Very much, we want to end the game, and then Team NIGMA. The lanes mechanically, get everything together, and just not give you the chance to outmaneuver them in those late game team fights.
And I actually believe that that's the right approach. When you are the underdog, chances are you can win lanes. Lanes are the easiest part.
Because you play it so much, right?
You play it so much. Anyone
every game.
Exactly. Every game you play lanes, right?
Every game you play lanes. Not every game you play the late game.
Exactly. And after the lane stage, you actually need some brains involved. You know, you have to think about how you're rotating and all this stuff. Lanes can be won mechanically, and then if you're strong enough as 5-man, you can just straight up push and win off of a couple of good team fights.
I mean, obviously we're talking about the push, but talking about sort of the lanes and the lane matches up specifically, do you believe that looking at these 3 lanes, Fighting Pandas, they've got some good favored matchups?
Not really.
No.
That's the problem as well. I don't believe in their lanes way too much. So Disruptor and the Drow Ranger, I thought that was a good lane to have, as you have that Thunderbolt on a hero constantly proccing, which gives Drow the vision to attack. But what about the mid lane? Didn't you expect an Arc Warden perhaps here?
We are playing the leader this game. Arc Warden will not be in his hands here as he steps up for the 1v1 against Bryle's SF. Standard taking that raise level 1 to make sure that we can secure CS here to start things off.
From what we've seen from these two players, GH.
Alright,
there we go.
He's back. He really is. It's been a while since I've got the chance to see a good old Eternal Envy game, and here he goes straight onto the stage here at LAN and gets himself a first blood.
He's done it. He's back.
Back. He really is. I was the chance to see a good old Eternal Envy game, and here he goes straight onto the stage here at LAN and gets himself a first blood.
Done it. He's back. I think she's really good in this game because of the SF. You make Brawl work. We've seen a couple of SFs today and they didn't work because they have no steroid hero next to them. No one that pumped them up, right? The Draw with her Aura definitely does that.
Seeing the CS at the moment up on top. Envy 6 for 2, Miracle 10 for 1, so NIGMA still able to secure that slightly better lane, at least in terms of getting the farm for their position ones.
Kind of to be expected, right? Lina versus SF is long on the mid lane game, but better.
One lane, not to really focus on, but here we have it. Kuro on the support Rubik and Moon on the support Disrupt. You've got to be careful in that matchup. A couple of mutes and you're
not even give him the courtesy of going back, man. He was even look at when he died. Very young.
Lover to repeat his situation. Maybe we'll go the other way this time. Steps in, but we are again a second outplay. Bryle. That's. I mean, maybe showing some sort of frustration in the mid lane there, especially with that second attempt going in underneath the tower.
Man,
if you die twice there in that matchup, that lane it's kind of over now.
That's where you're right, guys. Gank pulse.
Yeah,
gank pulse. That's it.
You see, you start man going up and heading to the jungle. There was so Bryle trying to pop those mangoes, get him for those raises, but again, getting caught out and just reading the situation a little bit wrong.
That was so well played by we as well. We lost Eton recently because their performances haven't really been that great, but so far in this particular game, he's definitely.
Oh, he's going to be very happy with the start that he gets. Since bottom lane, bit of action as Kuro will be chased down. They've got the Thunder Strike, trapping him down as well with the kinetic field. Kuro, he's going to start turning indeed with the treants as well. Moon cannot win this engagement on his own. He needs snaking to get in, but Snake, he can't quite close the gap on Guro. Moon's got to still keep his distance. Turns with the Mango Thunderstrike. A little bit of a slow with these ticks. Stops mind control from Meander to take off the salve of Moonmeander. As Moonmeander will be able to heal up.
That's also so very good for him, as he's going to port base, right? And then he can teleport back into the lane. Perfectly timed for the bounty. Yeah, now they're all low. Disruptor had to go back, but he's back full HP.
This mid lane, I was talking about, you've got to be careful. Double damage, and now having that 6 and Lina, we are incredibly scary killing machine at this 5-minute point of the game. As it's already been maybe 2 deaths too many from Brawl in that matchup. He's got to keep it cool to the jungle, make sure that he can catch up and farm. Weehar's going to have the potential to make some great movement with this start that he's had in the 1v1.
When you're playing with SF and Drow, your SF is the one that's supposed to have the most farm, right? The Drow can rotate back to the jungle to farm a little bit, but it's on Drow to be that machine, that turret that stands up front, just soaks up the damage and hits everyone even harder, right?
Yeah, and they have got the means to do that, right? Having the support on the inside, they can build towards that point where Ryle can present himself in the front, but mid lane, GH coming in, trying to make the lane for Ryle that little bit worse. They'll track back straight into the burst of the Laguna Blade. Totally down with the races, but he cannot get the kill. Back south up, and now NIGMA, they could take a second. They'll bring down Owie. Who's tried to come in, but with 2 heroes already down, couldn't really turn much around. They will get GH, but the rest of NIGMA will be more than fine as they can step themselves back. And again, so much pressure. You know, NIGMA's realized the weak point. Brawl, he's suffered in lanes with those 2 deaths already. Now they're just trying to tilt him out of the game.
They're just completely tilting him out. That's it. Maybe before it was guys up on the lane, please gank. Now it's just
he's just able to get a free move there on Envy, catching him out with the rotation, and this is the horror for finding PandaS when the enemy leaders had such a good.
not feeling the Christmas spirit right now at all.
As this is setting some straight up bullying here, at least finding PandaS, they will get an objective in turn. They'll take down the bottom tier 1.
If you're NIGMA, do you really care about this tier 1 even? It's like the most insignificant one too.
Well, we are. He's able to get the cat onto Howie. He's trying to step away. Extra status resistant, dragging back. And Howie has no escape. We are now unstoppable with his Lina as he just continues to go wherever he wants, and he's become this great leading force for the team where they can just follow him, and they know wherever the Lina goes, there's going to be blood in their favor.
That was also with his ulti that he rotates in. Moonmeander as well. This is probably a dead disruptor.
Try for the drag back there with a glimpse. Buys him a little bit of time, but the Treants chasing him down as well as the creeps. As Moon will for another kill. jungle. So
what I really like about tier 1 teams is that they do not fight for every single objective. They realize that even when they're winning, they have to trade some things. Miracle might fall here.
I mean, it could be a huge catch if they can get it with the Wolfpack. They'll drag him in. They're on top of it. That's a huge for Fighting Pandas. Miracle has had a free game up until now. They are starting to make the movements work. They're getting these objectives, getting the kills.
Look, it definitely is a really good kill for them, but at the same time, when you're an arc warrior,
in net worth, despite the consistent bullying from NIGMA in the laning stage. We'll see a player tempted it onto Snake King, see if there's any sort of save that Ali can offer. Trying his best to get Snake King out of there. Won't be able to cut himself out of the sprout before the light strike array lands, as Snake King will fall. Even deeper, GH is going to try and catch another. Static Storm will be dropped down, and the Razor from Brawl coming into play as they'll turn and get GH. Big Nature's Wrath bounces in, and along with the Fade Bolt, Ari gets nuked down as well. Moon lucky to get away on a slither of health.
I also love how he just runs in there. He knows that most likely he will fall, but if he buys them enough time for them to follow up and take down the Nessa, perhaps, then it's this way. I don't think that was a good exchange for NIGMA. It's not like he had to die there, as he has more network than the enemy supports, but overall they're still asserting dominance, and that's also pretty damn good.
While this has been going on, Envy has been quietly farming away. Of course, not quite at the pace of the cores on Team NIGMA. They are very hard to keep up with, but once Envy sort of has his first item, the Dragon Lance, he can turn up, sort of sit on the back lines, fire out a multi-shot, and maybe pick up a couple of kills. See if they've got enough control. Glinda's back, he'll go for the Sprat, TP out, so with the Glinda's already used. Oh, they have got the Roar, they'll pop it. Make sure that he cannot get away.
He basically just forced them there to use Roar, right, as he was TPing away. That's all. They are still making plays. They haven't been tilted completely by the laning stage, and that's very good.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
A little bit of pressure here onto Envy as he farms from the tree line, but the rest of his squad are in the neighborhood, at least Moon. He's ready to move down and set something up. Static Storm available once again, as well as Brown now hitting the level 12. And with the Treads drums, you know, as I say, this man's still got great farm upon him.
Treads drums, and you have Drow plus Beastmaster and the Omni Knight.
You've got the buffs.
Yeah, you got the buffs. You can, very soon, they will start trying to take down these other remaining towers. I'm just afraid for because there is an Arc Warden.
It's still the Arc Warden problem.
Yeah, and Nature's Prophet constantly just trying to creep skip for split push. Strategically, this game is super hard for Radiant.
They have, of course, managed to those 2 out of tier 1 so far. The mid-tier 1 still standing for NIGMA.
At the same time, I haven't seen a lot of Arc Warden in the recent patches. All I've seen are nerfs to him, right? The Spirit nerf, the Flux nerf as well, so I'm not so sure how strong he is at the moment.
Well, we have it. They are now ready to get Envy involved in the plays. As Moon is on the hunt, looking for a catch. Snake King has got Primal Roar back up. See if they can get the wraparound. Weehaw would be a very juicy kill to find, but he's keeping himself safely positioned on the other side of the trees, and now with him showing, Weehaw will keep himself well aware.
They knew exactly where they are. Oh, needs to be careful there.
He's playing a little close to them.
Yeah, just gets the ball, 200 gold easy.
If you get the vision, Weeha's got to be he's keeping out in the shadows.
Yeah, he's playing in the shadows, and he's always in one spot, so even if you glimpse him, you're only going to glimpse him for a second, and that's it.
Yeah, you're not necessarily going to be able to set up the follow-up. At the same time,
he's playing with them.
GH and Kuro, yeah, they're trying to get a wraparound whilst Fighting Pandas get drawn towards Weehaw, but Fighting Pandas, they'll play it smart. They're happy with taking the objective. They'll back on.
It's also minute 15, right? You want to go for those bounty rolls.
Bottom tower is under
also
attack.
Farm some neutral items.
Yeah, looks like it will be 2 for 2 on the bounties.
I'm surprised they are only 3k ahead right now, even after all those skills they had on Braille, plus the fact that he got one of the fastest Midases ever on Arc Warden.
No, I guess it's just, Braille SF, it is one of his most comfortable heroes, and in that situation, it's going to be a hero. It doesn't really matter how many times he dies in the mid lane in terms of his own game movements, because he's going to be able to catch up in farm. Obviously, the way that it hurts them the most is the fact that you've given that bit of a boost to Weeha, where he may not have usually had it as a leaner.
One problem that I see also for NIGMA is the fact that they have these two glass cannons, right? You have the Lina and the Arc Warden, and they kind of do similar things in team fights, right? They stay back and they fight from distance. I'm not certain this Doom is going to be enough to just run into a Drow and an SF and stay alive for long enough.
Certainly, if Fighting PandaS get any sort of setup and catch, they're just going to have the physical damage and combo to rip you down and take you out. The sort of multi-shot Brawl being able to stand on the front lines with this beefiness that he's building up, especially with the ring on top of the drums and Ogre Club.
Another reason why I'm not the greatest fan of Arc Warden right now is the fact that even though you're ahead and you've been winning your lanes, you haven't been able to convert that into objectives.
He's going to try for a little moon here in front of the rest of the team. Aurora's going to come out, takes on Desmond, Envy turns with a multi-shot. They will lose Moon here to the mind control Nature's Wrath, as NIGMA won themselves, and now NIGMA, they're ready to try and chase for more. Snake King cuts his way out of the Sprout, Brawl revving up a Requiem in case NIGMA continue to check. It will try and push them back here with the fear. GA's going to be popped as well as Fighting PandaS play on the fully defensive, continuing to try and back out. Leon's got a further catch. The Norse combo onto Audi, takes out his Omni Knight. As Fighting PandaS, they'll do best to just get everybody else out of there. See if NIGMA can get any more further catch. Stutter stepping back there and towards the action. He's got to be careful. Maybe he feels confident with Moon and Snake King being able to turn. They get the Blitz back, but both is routed. They can turn. Right click, they just clean out GH. He falls in a matter of seconds. The bubble's out. They're standing their ground, NIGMA, trying to turn things around. But the GH's gone. Can they actually turn this? They've lost Sweetheart. Snake King's able to find the trade. And Envy, he's now done. He's poking at mind control from the sidelines. He's still a little bit scared of getting close because Miracle will soon be there to help out. The bubble's in. Heals there from Maui. Envy can retreat. Now chase from Maui. No, cancel mind control's TP, but they have the damage to kill him before he can escape. Moon, he has the core to catch. He's trying to TP. Have they got the damage? They haven't. Miracle will escape.
That's just a great team fight for PandaS. If you notice the way they were fighting, they first attacked onto the Dire Shrine, right? But then they fall back, but not really. They fall back a little bit, then fight again. Fall back a little bit to the high ground where they're the strongest. You're fighting versus Lina and an Arc Warden. From your high ground, you have the advantage. First, they're missing. Second, you have Drow and SF just hitting from that high ground. In the end, they just turned on them completely because they knew that NIGMA were out of resources.
No, impressive maneuvers from Fighting PandaS for sure against that sort of pressure that NIGMA was applying, and definitely a situation where it felt that NIGMA just getting a little too cocky with their aggression. As Fighting PandaS show them that they're not afraid to turn and fight. They're not just going to run around and try and escape like headless because they see an opportunity to turn, trade kills, they'll take it. The question, of course, though, is how much can they do with each of these fights? The ping's been made onto Roshan. They need to continue to find these objectives so that they can play at a pace that allows them to win the game against the Arc Warden. Because, of course, as it still stands, Miracle is continuing to creep close, further and further ahead of anyone on the side of Fighting PandaS.
So far, they are doing everything properly. Besides the feeds in the laning stage, that's not really that great. They died 3 times in the span of 3 minutes. But after that, strategically, they've done everything properly.
Certainly keeping their cool and Braille. He's not a man that can be tilted when he's on the safety and comfort of his SF.
Radiant's middle tower
Level
is
15,
under attack.
Braille still the powerhouse. Only being less than 1k behind an Arc Warden that had a 9-minute Midas. You're very happy as the Shadow.
Right?
Exactly.
You have a BKB Aegis, Essence Ring drums. Right now, if you're this SF, you are able to tank.
Yes.
You can just go in front and take down towers. This is one of the issues that I've noticed with NIGMA's draft, right? You have too many glass cannons hitting from distance. You don't have anyone that can just step into the fray and tank up all that damage. Make the this wall between Arkward and Lina and the rest. GH is trying to be that wall, but he dies so fast. He has Tranquil's butler, Blink, I believe now. It's not good enough.
And an excellent find there from Snake King. He's able to grab a Ring of Aquila from the jungle, so you'll imagine that it's almost certainly going to go the way of Drow if Envy does have a slot available. And all these little extra bits that will allow Fighting Pandas to continue to make this 5-man that they have that little bit stronger as another move. They move up for the tier 2, and you can see Enigma, they know that they're not really cool to fight them at any chance now. They've got to be very careful about the way they choose to take their fights, even if it's on their side of the map. Enigma, they want the game to continue to slow down. Fighting Pandas, they're doing their best to not give them that breathing room.
Yeah, you can see that Fighting Pandas, they're moving back a little bit, out pushing mid. Their goal should be to outpush top and mid all the time right now. But the problem is bottom is being pushed as well. So eventually you will have to send someone to defend the high ground on the bottom lane. I don't think they will defend the tier 2 at all.
Bottom tower is under attack.
See this move here from Fighting Pandas trying to get into the jungle. Now on the split push cam, as you see, Miracle standing his ground down on the bottom. Continue to see how much he can force out before he has to sort of return and help the rest of his team defend.
Moon and Snake King show themselves right now, and instantly because of that mind control, ports bottom and starts split pushing where Miracle left off, right? He just continues doing that. If you are Fighting Pandas right now, it's all about vision. You have to keep Disruptor and Beastmaster somewhere out of vision so that they cannot split.
They're going to try and fight in the mid here. Take the tower, those shots back off. Nicholas stepping forward. Over this, but Prowl pulls the BKB. The red turns with the raises. GA's out as well as Fighting Pandas. They're at maximum strength. They're ready to fight. They'll look for Mind Control. Calic Crimson Guard saving the bubbles out. Mind Control still running well. Come on, Matthew with the stolen. They've lost 2. They've lost 4 on Fighting Pandas. The Aegis himself and his second life is as well. NIGMA kill off Bryle twice. As this time they'll punish and push him away. Actually, before the tier 2 went down, they keep the tower up. They get in and the push is put to an end. And anytime you lose a fight like that as Fighting Pandas, that's a big scare for your lineup.
That's the oldest trick in the book. While they're pushing, split push another lane. Wait until someone ports. Once the ports, engage and fight 4 versus 5, which is advantages for you.
Oh, they're not done yet. We are stepping up to the high ground, having a bit of a poke at Envy. Doesn't want to commit with the full combo. Just happy to keep him at bay. We will get close back into the static storm. He kills him off. He's going to look towards Miracle's double here, see if they can get to any of the heroes in the back lines. You see Snake King already moving, trying to find someone, trying to potentially hold someone back. Outside of the tree line, Kuro will get away before they have any vision for any sort of further catch. But we are a bit of a misplay there. Like, stepping up to the high ground like that, you're setting yourself up for a glimpse.
NIGMA right now, they have the smarts, but not really the strength yet to just push it so like bluntly like that. They can't just walk uphill. It's not possible. They need to make more plays like they did before around that mid-tier 1.
I think you could sort of see Weeha realizing his error when he stepped up, went for the oars and was like, oh, there's a disruptor there. I'm going to try and get out of here. But of course, Moon very easily able to grab him back there as we getting a little carried away. They do take the tier 2 tower, but with the Lina gone, the game will slow down again, which of course isn't the biggest worry of NIGMA, but it does give that extra chance for Fighting Pandas to get another big push together.
I think if you're Fighting Pandas, you're also worried about the late game. Even though you have Drow and SF, you are playing versus an Arc Warden, and whenever you play versus an Arc Warden, you do feel stressed. Eventually, he's gonna have so many items, and he's gonna start just sending out his clone and killing off your supports one by one.
For sure, you're always gonna have that side lane that's being shoved in against you, where, you know, as the game goes on, it's harder and harder to find that situation where you have both side lanes pushed out and you're ready to fully commit as a 5-man down the middle lane. Miracle's gonna make sure that the game state never gets to that point for you as a team. And
he's already at the point in which he just sends his clone and forces a core to rotate to kill off the clone. The supports can't do it any longer.
It's of course good money for Envy. Plus 300 each time there with the double being taken out.
Oh, I love this build, by the way, by Bryle. Skadi gives him tankiness. He already has the damage. He's receiving it from the Drow Ranger, from the Beastmaster, so Skadi does make sense.
Still, of course, this game creeping on into closer and closer to Arc Warden territory. Miracle's lead continues to grow. Towers continuing to be taken as Fighting Pandas' movements will get more and more restricted.
You can see Miracle going for that Shadow Blade as well. It's going to allow him to just, once the pushes start, he can pop that Shadow Blade, catch a support off, eliminate one out of the game, and then they have an easy team fight.
Radiant's top tower has
Make it just that a little bit harder for them to catch him without bringing in the correct resources
Radiant's top tower
to hunt
has
him
fallen.
down. There's Envy
Dire's bottom tower is
closing
being
in on
chipped
having his
away.
Manta at completion. I'll look to clean up another tier 2 tower. NIGMA will be bringing in defenses though. Already Miracle sending the double out to clear out the push. They do have the full 5-man around. The Tempest double shows its face. The Fighting Pandas know that they've got to be very careful how they stick around for a push. Last time they tried to do that on a tier 2 mid, it did not work out too great for them. It ended out losing their own tier 2 tower.
They're just respecting NIGMA way too much. In that situation, perhaps they can continue pushing, scout out for more with Moon, and then glimpse back. You can see he's very aggressive.
Oh, he is. Just goes right behind the tower, Moon. Scouting them out, trying to read the situation. GH gets the Doom down. Onto Bravo. He just turned from his right click. The static sword's put down to try and spread the rest of NIGMA away. They'll use the raw GH. But Fighting Pandas are playing very reserved. They know that they cannot get a quick kill. They're quickly backing off. Envy's trying his best to dip the from Miracle. They've lost Moon. NIGMA get the one catch on the Disruptor. The split push from Miracle is too much. Alone, Envy could not deal with this Arc Warden at this stage of the game with him being so far ahead. He just walks in and takes the racks underneath his nose.
Yeah, just taking that tier 2 on the bottom lane or even trying to push it as 5 sounds like such a bad idea. You're so far away from Rosh, you're so far away from top and mid, which you should be taking. You should be warding that area, right? So that they cannot squeeze out, they cannot just do what they just did, and that's take access for nothing, for free.
Free catch here, looks unless Snaking can get any sort of help. They'll burst him down there. Microphone comes with the TP. They have got backup. Brawl steps in, GH pops. Snaking won't be said. He tries to jump in, but Fighting Pandas, they're good to fight. The multi-shot's out. Envy turns his attention towards GH. Hiding the drought. Frost arrows and Scarly. Mind control is slowed down to his grave. They'll try to walk away. Double kill for Envy. Miracle still continue to try and scout out here. Over the shadows with that Tempest double, but they won't go deep for the kill on it. Fighting Pandas a good bit of a turn for them. They struggled with the last 2 plays they made. Moon may suffer the effects of having this double on his own, but he's got the invis, and then with that can kite it up, so Moon will not fall to the Tempest double play.
You need Glimmer or Ghost as a support in this game, especially as Moon. If you want to die.
He's got a read on it. He's going to get the set bit with the Requiem, but Miracle's actually able to dodge out the souls, and who will simply just step away. GH is also able to blink out at this. No catch there, quite in time from Fighting Pandas, but they're getting aggressive once again. Let's see if they can do something this time. The last 2 plays they've made on this side of the map, on the mid lane tier 2 and the bottom tier 2, have ended in disaster. They're going to try for the side, pick up on Kuro, dropping back with the glimpse. They still have Miracle trying to continue to poke at those pesky supports, but he cannot quite do it. The double will fall.
This is all smoke and mirrors. What matters is bottom lane. It's being pushed in, and it's going to force Fighting Pandas back. It doesn't matter what you're doing on their side of the map unless all of your lanes are pushed out. And versus Furion and Arc Warden, that is so difficult to do.
It's very hard for them now at this point, getting to this 30-minute mark. This is the period of the game that we were worried about Fighting Pandas draft reaching. At this stage, it's very, very hard for them to make moves that sort of get the game back, the momentum back behind them. At this stage, it's the Arc Warden's game to play. You've got to try and catch him. You've got to hope that Miracle messes up. That's sort of your best shot at this point in time. If Miracle keeps his game clean and keeps these split push movements going, it's very hard for Fighting Pandas to find a way out of this now.
The problem is, even if his game isn't so clean, if they catch him once or twice, you have to catch him and mind control, because they both do the same thing. And they already took one of your sides. If they take another, your game is very rough.
And you see mind control's farm, right? He literally is another carrier right now. He's pretty much got the same net worth as Envy on his drought. Just being in that position free, the mind control is. There's 3 very scary cores on Team NIGMA's lineup. Fighting Pandas, they need big catches. They'll get a support kill to start it off. That's not enough though. They really need something more than that, and it doesn't look like they'll get it with Team NIGMA getting out. Maybe Envy can find the catch. We'll find Core with the multi-shot, but the cores, they've already escaped. Axes are out. Brawl will be used. It's 2 support kills What can they do with it?
I don't want to be a broken record, but look at mid and bottom again, right? The same thing is happening. Even though you're taking this outpost, but your bottom lane is going to be pushed in, your mid lane is going to be pushed in. However, I do think that NIGMA, they're losing a bit more heroes than they necessarily have to. On that fight before, we died. Now there's a Rubik and Doom. Maybe Doom alone is enough, and then you just bail. They try to make these cute fights, but at the same time, when you're making them work for you, when you're making them fight a little bit longer, it buys time for Miracle and Furion to split push, and that's the name of the game for NIGMA.
Just a little bit of downtime here, Envy. He's good to go. We are good to get the show back on the road. But as every minute passes, the difficulty of this game one increasing exponentially for Fighting Pandas.
Yeah, this main dagger as well from he wants to be another one. He wants to be another rat.
Yes, he can push.
They're infested right now.
And he's so hard to punish, as you say, with that item build. All three cores, very slippery. Almost too slippery at this point, it seems, for Fighting Pandas to deal with.
It would be really great if 3 cores of Fighting Pandas could work without Disruptor and maybe perhaps even Beastmaster, so that they can hide on the side lanes, right, and make traps for these rats, for the Miracle and for Mind Control.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Very hard for their cores to make plays on their own, really. Whereas, as you've seen, NIGMA's heroes, their cores individually, the leaner, the Arc Warden, they have a lot of solo killing potential if Fighting Pandas have any heroes caught out of position.
The thing is, sometimes, very often I see Arc Warden games in which they're winning, right? And then a few team fights go wrong for them and they just lose after a really long period of time, even though it's kind of counterintuitive, because usually you expect Arc Warden to win super late. Super late, he's not as strong as in this, like 35 to 50 minute mark.
NIGMA, they're going to try and poke here. GH will be everything thrown down on the Static Storm.
Glimpse.
Catch again, it's the 2 supports. But it is just the 2 supports again. Can they get more? Can they turn this into anything? They've got full push. This will be very nice for Fighting Pandas. Doesn't necessarily mind that they don't get a core kill. If you get the supports and the Roshan, that's a fantastic objective to fight. And maybe with that, they can try and return to looking to take one of those tier 2 towers on the mid lane or the bottom lane. Again, though, all those lanes push right into their side. So after getting the Aegis, they've got to back up, start the push back out. We'll see what they can find with these pickups from the Roche pit.
I actually expected NIGMA to take another side by now with just split pushing, right? Or at least this tier 3. It's worrisome for them a little bit that they haven't managed to do that, and that Fighting Pandas got Aegis and Cheese right now, because at one point they became very strong and they can just push down one lane and take the game.
For a quick kill here on double. Zemi's trying to shoot this, but he's not in the bubble, so he's not really doing too much damage at the moment. Now with the bubble ending, they will have the DPS to take him out, and
yeah, it's scary.
Another plus 300.
It's scary how much damage she took from the double.
Yeah. Just a testament to how scary it is for even the cores of Fighting Pandas when they're found by miracles.
Where did he find an AC? What happened to this Doom?
So he died a couple of times, and then GH is like, well, I got an AC, by the way. It doesn't matter about those deaths with
Magic.
the ways they've sort of been pushing out, taking plays. 33 minutes in, this Doom's good to go. He's been devouring those creeps, getting that money from their broken bones. And he's got good funds.
This smoke that they just did would work really well if the bottom thin, because someone would have to def it and then the trap would be set. This way, maybe they go back into their jungle. Let's see, snaking might be the one.
See what they can go for a grab on GH. He's going to be the first one to make the jump. Let's commit onto the Beastmaster. Envy turns, fires out the multi-shot. He's having the NIGMA back. Again, another fight where GH will be the first to fall. They do get the grab this time. The call rolls out. Also mind control. Glimpse back as well. The core miracle. A fantastic glimpse. Sets up a huge pick. This time, no messing around from the boys on Fighting Pandas as they get 3, including two of the cores as Moon, I mean, consistently throughout this game, his catches have been phenomenal. One was the big one, not tunnel visioning onto Micro saying, hey guys, we got a core. He's looking for the bigger targets, and he finds that Miracle is gone out of the game for a full minute.
And it's not easy to find Miracle. He's always on the outskirts. He always uses the Shadow Blade. However, Moon found the right opportunity and he glimpsed him back into the fight.
Massive moves.
Without him, it's super easy for Fighting PandaS to push in.
Mind control, he's instantly sort of in the base trying to get drawn away. He steps forward, he falls. He's dead. He's got a tower.
Isn't going to last long.
Well, that's not good to If Fighting PandaS realized that there's no buybacks, I guess they're short on the gold, right? They didn't use them.
They will take the Raxes. I believe that's the call.
At least that, but big plays from Fighting PandaS, and on this Disruptor Moon, that pick off, that grab on Miracle being the catalyst for them to push like this. NIGMA crumbling as Fighting PandaS, yeah, they're not done yet. They know that these buybacks aren't coming out. They've still got 10 clean seconds to take what they want, and of course they clear off objectives very fast. With their auras, with their damage, they've just taken 2 sets of racks.
This is literally why I was worried for NIGMA. It doesn't matter how farmed this Arc Warden is. At one point, the enemy cores become stronger, and if they catch you, you're a gas cannon. You die in a matter of seconds, and you don't want to buy a BKB. That's also a problem. So that glimpse will always work against you. They can't and suddenly two sides down.
From Fighting PandaS. Miracle is back in the game. He's straight into the Tempest double, trying to force the pressure back on down bottom. 9k ahead, Fighting PandaS. Really sort of against the odds, just catching that Arc Wall, taking Miracle out. One mistake, that's all it takes.
Just one.
And suddenly, this game very much in a position where Fighting PandaS, if they get any sort of opportunity, even sort of relatively close to that, they will run down that final third lane and close up the game.
Look at this SF. Daedalus, Scotty, Monkey King Bar. He doesn't even care about the bubble any longer. Difficult to deal with. Or is he? Let's see. Yeah, he is. Confirmed.
I've got to say, Miracle's going to be able to keep that one alive. Other than that, he has been losing a fair few of these Tempest doubles, and that has been quite a contribution to the gold that Fighting PandaS have been able to build up. You know, never, even when they were sort of behind, they were never that behind in gold because of how well their heroes have been farming.
I'm wondering just what made them go for the Arc Warden. I haven't seen him picked at all in the current patch, right? And there are heroes that would do just as much as he does, but that do not fill the same role like Lina. That's the problem here. Like, we wants to be picking off people and just farming, right? And doing this from distance. And Arc Warden wants to do the same thing. Once they're on top of you, you both have to run.
I know we haven't mentioned, but obviously one of the she's like, well, he's dead. What's he doing now on his own? He's struggling for his little bit of split pushing, but Fighting PandaS more than prepared to find him. You know, we're seeing this point where the cores of NIGMA, they're starting to crumble a little bit. Miracle with that bit of out of position and not having the buyback down bottom in that earlier fight, and now We are getting caught out when he's trying to go for these split push plays. It's going to heavily hurt NIGMA.
Yeah, they're getting their travels, right? Disruptor can pretty much just stand on one lane and catch anyone off. Then Snaking can follow with travels or anyone else. So they're getting all the items that they need to stop split push from happening, and Mind Control might do problems too.
See what he can find. Obviously, Raw's still on cooldown for 30 seconds, but he's given the vision. Mind Control will go for the TP out, so will GH. No way to cancel it between the two of them at the moment, so they will escape from this. But Fighting PandaS, they're not necessarily looking for the kills there. They just want to get the push going, get the creep wave push back in against Team NIGMA. They've still got 30 seconds to play in without Weehart being in the match, and obviously he does not want to buy back. If he buys back and dies, that is game.
Arcorden is one of the better heroes to defend with, right? Even though they have MKB, the bottom doesn't care when it's used on towers. So you can defend tier 3 for his... I think you can do it for 15 more seconds until he is up.
You see here the bubble, of course, being that little bit of a defense that they can offer up against this very hard-hitting push of Fighting PandaS. It's not enough to save the tower, though. The tier 3 will fall. That final set of racks exposed in this bottom lane. As Fighting PandaS, they will back off, respect the fact that Weehart is back in the game.
They don't have to do anything rash like this. If there's any place where NIGMA is really strong, it's at defending their own base. So you don't have to push that. Catch them somewhere on the ball, anywhere across the map, and we will have that team.
Control. Okay, here for a bit of a solo play. But Snaky's ready. The wheels back up.
That's no buyback.
It's back-to-back feeds of Team NIGMA. Miracle down earlier in the Radiant jungle. We are up top in that top lane. Now Mine could simply TPing in into 5 of them and saying, I want to join the feed train as well.
Regeneration!
Any seconds. And Miracle, he's got to be careful. Trying to push out like this. They're really starting to crumble, NIGMA. And fighting PandaS, 12k lead. And with the way they take buildings, I feel like Team NIGMA, they just want to... As fighting PandaS have...
They have creeps.
They're going to know that they're strong. Mind control, his buyback being on cooldown still for 2.5 minutes. Miracle's going to try his best here with the bubbles.
There's no... the creep wave will skip, but there's a creep wave mid, so they don't have to go back. That doesn't matter that he creeps skip bottom.
So here we see NIGMA. They've got to make some sort of a jump if they want to stop themselves from being mega creep. They're trying to throw everything on. Obviously, this thing is so big and tanky. Static still control there from Miracle. He's turned to ripped it to pieces by Brian. He's dead. They'll buy back GH to try and hold, but the Rex are already gone. Mega creeps are up against Team NIGMA, and this game has fallen into a disastrous state as fighting PandaS. I mean, they've certainly done that fight. This game, the way that they've kept their composure, you know, you can see the amount of pressure that's been on these boys. From the mid lane, Bryle getting focused, dying 4 times in the stage. He made an incredible comeback. The mid game onwards, he was up there in sort of the top 2 net worth. And then the way that they've been able to make sure that even against all this split pushing, these very annoying moves that the Team NIGMA's been trying to make and get away with to break down the movements that fighting players have made, they haven't faltered. They've kept strong, right? And they've come out on top. They've mega creeped.
Everyone think that NIGMA is the stronger team here, right? The more skilled, the more experienced.
But I'm not seeing that in this game. I'm being way more impressed by what fighting PandaS have been able to do in terms of maneuvers. This is not an easy game for fighting PandaS to play, but at this stage, they're making it look easy.
This is such a difficult game. I can't even explain it, how difficult this is to play versus a team that's strategically considered stronger than you when you versus all this split pushing. But they found ways, they did it. A couple of mistakes here and there by NIGMA. The team fights that they took weren't brilliant, but fighting PandaS definitely exploited that in their favor.
Yeah, and we have here the stats of course. You know, despite the game getting harder and harder, Miracle's still able to hit good timings on his item here as we're having presented by Gosu AI. But at this stage, it doesn't feel like enough. Sure, he's got the Hex, but that's not really going to help you against the Megas. Suddenly that split push that we are, Mind Control's been trying to go for on your own, so much harder to do. You're doing it against Mega Creeps. You're not just going to easily be able to spend 10 seconds getting the lane pushed back onto Radiant's half of the map. It's not that easy anymore for NIGMA at all. This game is very, very hard for them to take back into their favor. One more mistake from NIGMA and this game is truly over.
If you were playing versus almost any other hero but Arcor, then this game would already be done, right? You would take this rush and you would just run down mid. But because you're playing versus Prophet and versus Arcor, wait for the rush spawn and then push.
Into the pit they go. Roshan will be up in just a second. Perfect timing here for fighting PandaS as they'll move in a chance of NIGMA getting anywhere close to this with just the physical DPS that fighting PandaS do. Multi-shot that over on the curve. He's dead. Double bypass coming out from NIGMA. But what are they able to do with them? Michael's gone for the team in balloon. And stopping the fighting PandaS as Bryle gets the triple kill.
That's good.
The bullied has become the bully as Bryle is just this unstoppable beast right now with the way that his friends have banded together and built him up. They cannot deal with the SF in these fights. FP, they're going to walk down mid. There's no way NIGMA can defend this. This has got to be game 1 done and dusted.
You can throw your rebels all you want. They're still going to hit those buildings in those 5 seconds that they're down, and they will take them down because they hit so hard. Bryle, I believe he even wants to walk into it. He has all the support he needs.
Here we have it, the tier 4s slowly falling.
Yeah, look at him. He's just in front there. He doesn't care.
You can't make a play on this SF right now. Maybe you can. How do you do it the second? I don't think so. Next one, he's just focused NIGMA. They want to bring them as much as they can before going into the rest of the match. And Fighting PandaS will take this game one.
Amazing performance by Fighting PandaS. Actually surprised that they managed to have such a lousy start their game. After that, they kept their composure. They caught these rats just